What's up, guys? It's Dylan with The Entrepreneur. Tonight I'm going to be teaching you how you can make $200 selling iPhones. That was cool, huh? Today I'm going to be teaching you how you can make money at pretty much any age, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, all the way up to 100 till you're dead. I don't know. But you can make tons, and I mean tons of money by doing this simple method that I use to flip iPhones and sell them for more than I bought them for. I'm going to be running you through the exact process and strategy that I've used to make, I don't know, a couple $1,000s selling iPhones. Make sure to stick to the end of the video for a bonus tip. For all my subscribers, all 20 of you, I love y'all. Haven't forgot about you. Right now you guys are just a camera, but soon this will be on the internet. Probably get like maybe 100 views. So let's break down just exactly how you're going to do this. So there are 5 little, tips or steps that you want to follow to be able to do this for yourself. The 5 steps you're going to want to use are to search, to price, to negotiate, to buy, and to relist. What do those mean? When looking for an iPhone to buy, I definitely recommend you buy it locally. You can buy it off of eBay and get a good deal and maybe snipe an offer, but that takes a lot of time and a lot more hard work. Believe me, I tried. Doesn't really work out. Never even bought one. Too hard. But you're going to use local reselling apps like Craigslist and Letgo or OfferUp or any of these apps to just look up iPhones. I'm going to screen share with you really quick just exactly how I do it. All right, so we're on Letgo. It's loading up here just a sec. You're going to want to come to the search bar and just search iPhone. Give it a sec. Wi-Fi not working too well. All right, finally, it's loaded, right? So we're going to search iPhones. iPhone in good condition. We have no idea what that phone is, so we're going to scroll. See, a lot of these could be a little vague. Some people just put iPhone because they're idiots. But see, look at this. iPhone XR, only thing wrong is the battery. Battery installation costs $80. It doesn't work. We don't want that. And that's where step 2 comes involved. Pricing. You use eBay for your pricing. So you go over to eBay, iPhone XR, filter. And so the way you filter this is you want to filter it by condition, used, because of course you're going to be selling it used. And then you want to filter it, click this little sold items button right here. And this just shows you everything that's sold for that product, how much it's been selling for. As you can see, it's currently trending at $487. There's one 64 gigabyte, which is the lowest gigabytes you could get for an iPhone. And so if it doesn't include the gigabyte, I just like to go off the 64 gigabyte because you never know. And if you're looking at an iPhone with 256 gigabytes versus 64 gigabytes, that's a huge price difference. So I just like to always use the base 64 gigabyte price just so I could see that no matter what gigabyte it is, I could still make money off of it, if that makes sense. If that makes sense, comment money in the description or comments below. But as you can see, it's selling for 500, 460. So if this was in perfect condition, this definitely would be an iPhone I would go about buying. So how do you buy the iPhone, you may be asking? Well, that brings me over to tip number 3, negotiation. Negotiation is a huge tactic involved with buying an iPhone. And it just really helps you get it for a lot better deal. Because honestly, I could probably end up getting that phone for $200 if I really wanted to. Just because I'm not going to be cocky or anything, but I'm pretty good at it. I buy phones for cheap. So Dylan, what's the secret sauce? How do you get these phones for so cheap to make so much money? Well, let me tell you. Before I ask any questions about price, I started by asking if it's available. I get all the specs of the iPhone, if it's 64 gigabyte, 128, whether they left it out or not. And then I ask for the IMEI. This is huge. Not only because an IMEI is very important and it lets you check if the phone is stolen or even works or if it's iCloud locked or any of that, but most average sellers don't know what an IMEI is. If you don't know what an IMEI is, because this is a video for beginners, it is essentially a serial code that every iPhone has that you could look up on some IMEI website checker, and it just tells you what the status of the phone is, what service it is, if it's iCloud locked, if it's been stolen. It has a bunch of info that you need to use to determine whether the iPhone is even worth buying. There's a lot of phones that are service locked, And what that means is someone was on a plan with that service company, paying for it monthly, and then they just stopped the plan and kept the phone, and now they're selling it. But the thing about that is if you buy one of those phones, it only works for that specific provider. So let's say you have AT&T, and this is actually a mistake I've made. Let's say you have AT&T and you buy a locked Verizon phone, right? You want to have an unlocked phone so literally anyone on the internet can buy it. But no, I bought a Verizon locked phone and I put in my AT&T SIM card and it didn't work. And of course I still ended up selling the phone for profit because I got it for cheap because negotiation, man. But I could have made a lot more money, that's for sure. I lost about $100 just because no one wanted to buy an only Verizon phone. I just sold it for $100 less than I could have, and I had to just kind of take the loss. I mean, I still made profit in the end, but it's all about being smart with your phones. This was a mistake I made when I was a beginner. I would look up the MEI, but then I never really would check the data. I kind of would just check to see if it was stolen or not, and that's really all I cared about. But just always do your research. I kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent, back to negotiation, ask for the MEI. Was that not just super complicated, what I just said for the past minute and a half just now? No average let-go seller who is just selling their phone for some extra cash knows what an MEI is. At least with my experience, they don't. So what I do, I message them, I ask how long they've been trying to sell the phone, I ask the condition about the phone, the specs, then I ask for the MEI. And a lot of the time they don't know what an MEI is, so I just have to go and explain it to them. And the reason this just works so well, it catches the seller off guard. You're a customer who seems like you know a little more about iPhones than they do just because you ask for some secret ancient code that they know nothing about. Once you get the code, of course you want to look it up, make sure everything's clean. But then what I go back and I do is I just lowball the out of them. Let's say that phone is $300. I cut the price in half, I say $150. Of course they're not going to take $150, but then I just don't budge. I don't budge for a little bit. They say that they're trying to sell the phone for this. They say they have other offers for this. I tell them, I'm sorry, the price is just too high. I can't do that. Of course, they're going to turn it down, and then you just offer $50 more. Only $200. You still got it $100 off. They get $50 more in the end. And the only way this will work, I'm sorry I didn't mention this in the beginning, but the only way that they're going to accept the lowball is you have to pick it up immediately. When I was selling a lot of my iPhones, it was over the summer, and I just had the most free time on my hands. It was ridiculous. I'd be texting a seller, he'd go good, we'd send a few kissy faces, a few hearts, we're flirting a little bit. I'd tell him, hey, I could be at your place right now if you sell me the phone for $250. And of course they're gonna take it because their product's been on there for 2 weeks. They have a bunch of fake buyers, I guess. They have a bunch of offers, but no one who actually is willing to close a deal and just get the product off their hands. There's a reason they're selling the product, and that's because they don't have a use for it anymore. So when you just make it seem like you could just give them cold hard cash as we speak, they're gonna take it. And if they agree to sell you the phone, which they will, you're gonna take your $200, right? You're gonna go down to them, you're gonna make sure the phone works, put your SIM card in, make sure it's unlocked, make sure the IMEI is correct, make sure that they didn't swap out the phone with a locked phone. There's a lot of stuff that you could miss that a lot of scammy let-go sellers will just pull on you. So just make sure that the iPhone that you're buying is the iPhone that they had on the listing. You hand them the $200, you get your phone, you go home. And now we're moving on to step number 5, which is our final step before we eventually make that bread. And this is to relist your phone. There are a lot of mistakes that a lot of people do when listing their phone, and it just makes it not sell. I'm going to show you an example of just how I list my phones, because on OfferUp, I have an iPhone X listed that for some reason I sold it, but I just never took it down on OfferUp. And I still get notifications to this day. It's been on there for 6 months. I'm just going to show you the listing real quick and show you just how exactly I would go about taking my photos, writing my description, and writing a selling title that's going to give me tons of offers. So this is my iPhone XR 64 gigabyte. This 2.4K views. Look at all these offers, bro. So many people offered me. I ended up selling it on Letco for $400, but I actually bought this phone for $100 too. there's a lot of people who just need some cash, who are just trying to get rid of a phone, and honestly, they make some dumb mistakes. So I made $300 off this one sale. A thing you can do on OfferUp is you can offer to ship it out. Offer to ship it out for $7.49. I don't like shipping my products though, because when you meet someone in person and you do a cash transaction, all that cash goes to you. If you sell it on eBay or OfferUp, they take a small 10% fee out of the sale, and I want all my money at the end of the day. I worked for it, and eBay can't have it. So if you have an iPhone yourself, if you don't, that's fine. iPhones have really great cameras. That's what I just used for this. I use the little square setting, so all of them are just the same shape. And as you can see, I have the back of the phone, and I have the box, just to let them know that the box is included. And the back of the phone, just because it's an XR, and people really just care about the color at that point. You swipe, you could see the IMEI number at the bottom here, just all the settings, has all the storage, everything you need to know. You swipe, another photo, just the back of the phone, shows the display, and the screen. Oh, it shows the screen, it shows that it's not cracked, it's high quality display, and then, I don't know, I do this one on all of my, just a photo I do with the whole, I don't know, all the phones I've sold is I just, turn it sideways, and then I get a little side angle on it, just so I could, I don't know, show that there's no cracks in the back, or there's no scratches. I don't know, the back of my phone is terrible, so, see, it's kind of hard to see on a camera. Might need to take a side angle of it. That is wrecked to hell. I get ran over by a car, but that's a different story. And as for the title, I put iPhone XR 64 gigabyte AT&T unlocked. The original provider was AT&T, but it is an unlocked phone, which means it's been unlocked by the carrier. So I just put all that info in there. I put the gigabytes because a lot of people don't do that. That person didn't do that. Some people are just looking for a standard base model. And of course, I put iPhone XR. I wouldn't just put iPhone. If people are looking for iPhone XR, it's not going to come up if you do that. And for the description, iPhone XR 64 gigabyte, just the same thing from the top. Comes with the original box. People like the original box. It's nice. People just buy the original boxes off of eBay for whatever reason. Perfect condition. You want to let them know how the phone runs, if it's scratched up, if it's nicked, the iPhone button, the home button doesn't work. AT&T and Cricket, the original service, and then iCloud unlocked, because if you don't have your phone iCloud unlocked, you're fucked. You cannot get apps, you cannot get music, you cannot get anything. You may not even be able to start the phone. If it's iCloud locked, it's a big bummer, and you kind of just got ripped off. And all you got to do from this point is wait for the sale. I definitely recommend you don't get too impatient with this. When I first started, I would buy a phone, and I would miss out on $50, $100 sometimes, just because I wanted to sell it for the cheaper price I could have gotten now, instead of just waiting another day and a half, and then someone else would have made me a higher offer. I can't tell you how many times I missed out on $100 or $50 or $75, just because I was a little too impatient. I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you did, definitely make sure to subscribe down below. Like the video, it helps me out more than you can realize. And, get out there and make some money. I made a lot of money this way. I really hope you guys can make a lot of money this way. And honestly, this could eventually turn into a full-time income. Let's say you're only making $150 a day, but at that point, after a few days of making $150 a day, you can start afford to buy 2 iPhones at a time and 4 iPhones at a time. You're buying 10 iPhones at a time, and you're selling 4 of them a day for $200 profit. That's $800 a day, tax-free, because you sold it on Letgo. It's financial freedom at its finest. So I just noticed while I was editing the video that you are currently watching that I did not do an outro, and I did not plug everything I was supposed to plug, right? So I'm going to need you guys to go ahead and follow my Instagram. Go ahead, give my Twitter a follow. Go ahead and check out the article on this video on the Entrepreneur website. Give my Instagram a follow. Make sure to subscribe and like the video and comment down below if you guys got anything useful. Make sure to follow my Instagram. So yeah, it's been The Entrepreneur. Follow my Instagram.